parking, and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Euphoria returns for an all-new season, and you can only watch it on Crave.
If you make a deal with the devil, there's no turning back.
Now's the time to catch up on the groundbreaking HBO original Critics' Call, one of the most explosive, heartbreaking, and entertaining shows on television. Starring Emmy winner Zendaya.
No matter how hard life was, it got harder and more complicated.
Euphoria. Catch up before the new season, April 12th. Only on Crave. Subscribe now at crave.ca.
Breaking down the fine art of sports.
One rep at a time.
The Lowdown
with Lowetide.
Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, I want to talk about the Oilers' penalty kill in overtime. We will talk about other things like the Oilers win, the Oilers signing a new defenseman, March Madness, Blue Jays opening night. But just know that I want to talk for 2 hours about the penalty kill. But they won't let me. The man won't let me. That's not true. It's just that I know that would be a little boring. Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. We're live on YouTube and Sports 1440 Radio, also iHeartRadio, Radio Player Canada, and sports1440.ca. Here's the problem with being on YouTube. I have an itchy nose and I can't scratch it. After the show, we're on Apple and Spotify podcast. We tweet it out on X as well. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at JFenwick04, and at Mac McLennan. Declan is at the CFL Combine. We may or may not hear from him today, but he's tweeting out stuff if you want to pay attention to that. And of course, he'll be back on Monday on the show. You can text or call us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Steve Lansky will be our guest coming up at 1 o'clock today, and we'll have declinations. That'll be Josh and Mackenzie's job. Speaking of, it's time for the introductions. She is a fan of the Eagles, Bruins, Taylor Swift, but not Justin Bieber, according to her Twitter site. What the hell, man? Justin Bieber's Canadian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mackenzie McLennan.
Okay, for the record, I have no issue with Justin Bieber. I take issue with the Sharks broadcast. I'm trying to put this in a way that
isn't profane?
Not profane, but not going to make the text line
please make the text line light up.
I don't like the way that they were talking about the girls, females, women.
Oh.
Because anytime a female takes interest in something that is mainly a male hobby or whatever, they always have to spin it in a way that just speaks down to the women that enjoy it. And I don't like it. Right. And you know what? If a girl wants to go to a hockey game with a bedazzled jersey or add some sparkles to their sign, I'm all for that. Because why not add a little bit of joy and whimsy? And
Sure. And I know that Josh gets pushed back because he does the same thing when he goes to games. And that's not fair either.
Yeah.
I
mean,
All right. The Los Angeles Angels won yesterday. The first opening day shutout win since 1977 when Frank Tanana was a fireballer. And because of that, he's a Los Angeles Angels fan. He doesn't know what to do with his hands. He's kind of out of sorts. There's nothing going on. His favorite player had a really, really good game. He didn't know what to do. So thank goodness he's here to help us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody.
First of all, hi, Mom. I'm on camera. So, hi, Mom.
Is your hair?
I'm wearing a hat today.
Man.
Go Toronto Raptors. They're in action tonight.
He hasn't combed his hair in over 2 months.
That is so far from true. Anyways, yeah, I really like. I tweeted out yesterday. You know, Paul Skeens. I think he's washed. They better just ship him off to the Angels. I don't think. Apparently now we don't need him. And that was a classic Mike Trout performance as well.
You know, and he looks like he's back. He's fast and he's in center field.
He's looking good. He's looking good. So, you know, maybe he took serious issue with MLB.com or whoever ranking him as the 67th best player in the MLB or something like that.
He's young enough to actually have a really significant run here. I mean, I'm not saying 5 years, but maybe 2 or 3. I hope he does it.
If he can be the same old Mike Trout, I'm not talking like full rookie year Mike Trout where he was second in MVP voting, but if we can discuss like the 2021 Mike Trout, if he can be like that for the next 2 to 3 seasons, it'll make Angels games a lot more bearable, but not that much more.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. So here's the deal. The Edmonton Oilers played a good game, a credible game. And then about 4 minutes left in the game, you can tell that both sides are now content with, you know, low risk rushes. They've decided they're each going to get a Batman. Now you get into a minute into the overtime, and Zach Hyman takes a penalty I think he had to take. So in hockey, when there's a power play in overtime, it's 4-on-3, and it's fait accompli. It is done. You are not getting out of that. 9 times out of 10, they score a power play goal, and that's all she wrote. And I just want to draw attention to the best penalty kill I've seen Edmonton play in eons. That was like, I am talking brilliance. They were exhausted. Man, I think they had to put like cots up or bunk beds behind the bench after that sucker because they were so tired. And then Bouchard scores the winner. I watch this team and I enjoy, for the most part, watching the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm thrilled that fans get happy. But honestly, I've watched so much hockey in my life. It is honestly rare where I go, you know, that was a great interview, or what a fantastic whatever. That penalty kill, I was raving about it when it was happening. And when they scored the goal, that was like righteous. I'm using the word righteous because the Oilers killed off that penalty. Hard to do. And let's be real here. You know, Vegas has some great players. That blasted Stone with his turnover on the McDavid's fly in the zone. He's got the puck. Where's he? And just a little. And Stone skates like I do. It's like watching Stonehenge on skates. And he has all day because of the great poke check. Goes in, ties the game. The Edmonton Oilers. I was so thrilled at that penalty kill. I can't say enough about it. There should be like some kind of statue or monument to that penalty kill. And they always say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. They sure as hell better bring that penalty kill home. I thought it was brilliant. You guys have any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
The physicality. Also, I just want to say, basically everything I said in the show that I was kind of watching for happened, which I was like, okay,
it was like
I'm
we're
right.
listening to you. We just our checklist from Mackenzie.
I'm just saying, because Brandon put it in my ear. Savoy getting on the score sheet, had a goal.
Nice goal.
Very nice goal.
Yeah.
And great game from Hyman. And then also the physicality. And I loved Dickinson's game. I think Oilers fans, myself included, are really starting to love him.
He's taking a lot of own zone faceoffs, and the coach used his line as the second line at 5-on-5.
Yeah. And when he got put out there for overtime to win that faceoff and then immediately swapped for Hyman, I was like, that was a great decision as well.
And something they can use. You could use that into the playoffs, right? Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And also, I also wanted to touch on the penalty kill. because Connor Ingram as well was
He was,
unreal.
you're right. I should have
And
mentioned that. Yes.
I think part of the reason the penalty kill was so good was because they just let him make the saves he needed to make. They weren't trying to get up in his grill or like screen or anything like that. They just let Ingram do what he needed to do, and they did their job. It was very simple. It was a very simple game, which I really, really liked.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. It was the kind of game you might see in a couple of weeks when they play each other, right? That's how I look at it. What about you? Now, by the way, just so everybody's clear, your team damn near did the Oilers a massive favor yesterday. That was close.
Yeah, damn near. It got close. It got close. But alas, Mikael Granlund had other things to do. He had a different way of viewing things. So that made me a little upset. A hat trick with 3 seconds left in overtime. Not really the way I wanted things to go, but whatever. Yeah, I liked the physicality a lot last night in the game. I was very impressed. Kevin brought it up this morning, is that the Connor Murphy Darnell Nurse pairing is one, the lockdown line, and now Connor Murphy is like dragging Darnell Nurse into the fights, into the scrums. And that's like what Darnell Nurse needs. He needs that extra little push. So I'm impressed with what I saw last night. Also, big night for McDavid. Congrats for him. He got his 800th career assist. So, yeah. I wonder if this will stay the way it is, because they're sort of starting to fire now. We're seeing a lot more good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I wonder what will change when Draisaitl gets back.
Well, one of the things that I would like them to do, and they don't listen to me, but I kind of like Podkolzin and Savoy, and then sending Nuge and Hyman to another line, and right now with Roslovic. But could you find like wingers not named the guys that I just named that Leon could play with? You know, like Kapanen and I don't know. Don't know, as I just said, but like somebody that Leon could play with, and they could have 3 lines that look really good. I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. We'll see. But there's some interesting opportunities. And it feels like Coach Chris Knobloch is less juggly. Is that a word? He doesn't juggle the lines as much.
We can make it a word.
Okay.
Word.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think he's still going to have the problem when he goes into the playoffs.
Yeah, he probably will.
He just loves reshaping those D pairings all the time.
And it's like here's the, and I understand Nurse and new guy
Murphy.
Thank you. Nurse and Murphy. This is what happens when you get old. Nurse and Murphy, I like them without the puck, and I like them in coverage, and I love their physicality, but they don't move the puck well. So they're defending well, they're suppressing well, but the puck, in order for them to, that pairing to have something happen, they need Draisaitl back on the second line, and he can create. And you know, even the third pair, I thought Wallman and Emberson were better at getting the puck out than Nurse and Murphy. But you're giving up something, and you're getting something back because they can defend together. So that's good. By the way, the Edmonton Oilers did sign a player today, and this is the spring signing season. If you read my stuff at The Athletic, I kind of preview this, not the player, but the idea that they would sign college and European fellows between March and, say, May, and they did a bunch last year. Szymanski was one of them, but there was also Quinn Hudson, Damian Carfagna, both college guys, and then a pile of Europeans. Bill-Jean-Marie Mahola as well. They are all either in Bakersfield or in Edmonton. Thomas Sabolka is the defender. He's a lefty, 21 years old, a little bit undersized, listed at 6 foot and 176. Has played in Czech Republic for the last 2 years. He did play for Val d'Or, undrafted. He played for Val d'Or between 2021 and 2024. Last 2 years with Budovici, I believe, in Czech Republic. Has much better numbers this year. Offensively, 35 points in 47 games than he did 1 year ago. The scouting report says he's shown a significant development, evolving into a reliable puck mover who can control play in the offensive zone. Good skater, and the things that will be a difficult thing for him was that he's not a big guy, and even though he can skate, and do some things. There's going to be a little worry about that. He's not Marc-Andre Bergeron, but he's also not big. So we'll find out more about him as we go along. But first blush is he's an interesting player and he can skate. And those are the things that you have to have if you're going to play pro hockey. You could move the puck. He would need a bigger guy, probably a guy who can help him defend as his partner. But this is whenever you're getting an offensive player for just money, you've got to feel good about it. So the Edmonton Oilers signing a player today, and we'll have more as the days roll along on him. This is opening day for the Toronto Blue Jays. Yesterday was an absolute blast. Totally fun. I watched a pile of baseball. Loved it. I loved Mizorowski's 11 strikeouts. I loved watching the Los Angeles Dodgers. Man, they're good, but it's hard to win 3 in a row. I still would take I would take the pool of talent that will be up trying to defeat the Los Angeles Dodgers. Probably not coming out of the NL West. They should run away with that, but maybe a team out east. The Mets look interesting. I thought they were a pretty interesting ball club. The Cubs I thought would play well. They end up losing to Washington Nationals, which is damn near impossible. And of course, I mentioned earlier, but one of the real highlights was Los Angeles Angels, who are not regarded highly, getting a fantastic outing from Jose Soriano and beating the Houston Astros in a shutout, which was cool. And your weak hitting, no power hitting first baseman got a home run in that game, Chanuel. Good day if you're an Angels fan. And you might I don't know how many good days you get on opening day. It must have felt weird.
Well, let's see. What was it you said? The shutout was in 1977.
1977. Frank Tanana was still a fireball. He had this wild blonde hair, and he'd throw the ball and be like 95, which back then was a lot. And I think they had Nolan Ryan on the team either that year or the previous year as well.
Yeah, so that was 49 years ago.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to hazard there's been probably 4 good opening days in that time.
That's probably about right.
The season that they won the World Series, they might have had a good opening day that day. I'm not totally sure. There has to be one in the Trout era.
Was it?
02. I was not alive.
All right.
There has to be one in the Trout era aside from this one that was good. And then there was probably one in the 80s or something, But other than that, I'm sure it was a mess.
It was a wild day anyway. I really enjoyed the baseball. And now it's today there's only 7 or 8 games, which sucks. Should always be 15 games every day. But among them is the Toronto Blue Jays. And Gausman will take the mound for the Blue Jays against Sacramento, the Athletics. And that's going to be a wild game. Great bats for the Athletics and not a lot of pitching. I think it's Severino who's starting for the Athletics. I could be wrong on that. March Madness, I did not watch very much. Who watched some of March Madness and can fill us in on what's going on as far as the day one of this round is concerned?
Yeah, so I caught the Illinois game where they upset Houston. Shocking. Goes right down to the wire. Illinois makes a great shot to go up, and now all of a sudden, that is for anyone that had Houston, including our own Kevin Karius, to win the national championship, that is unbelievable. And Iowa knocks off Nebraska. Man, Paul Sir just has to be so giddy about the fact that his Iowa Hawkeyes are doing what they're doing. That was a great game, but those are really the only 2 I caught before switching over into hockey and back and forth between a lot of other stuff.
Did you see anything?
I actually didn't. I know I said I was looking forward to that Iowa game, and I did plan on watching it. But then when I got home, Dylan was like, the Spit and Chicklets sandbagger with the Blue Jays is out.
Sure.
And I really like Davis Schneider, Ernie Clement, Nathan Lucas. He was just kind of there. So we were it was an hour and a half video, and we had about an hour before Oilers puck drop. So we were like, let's
watch
that.
Yeah.
Which it was very good. You get to see a little bit more personality from a lot of guys that you don't always get to see. And Ernie Clement, good golfer.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, very good golfer.
I don't doubt it. baseball player, hockey player.
Yeah, I
good
know they're all.
golfer,
Yeah.
There's
male model.
too much
You're
time on
telling
their
me.
hands. Well, here the scores were basically the other games not mentioned by Josh were. Purdue just got by Texas 79-77, but 2 beats 11. No shock there. Obviously surprised with Iowa over Nebraska 77-71. And
And then that's right. Arizona dominated Arkansas.
yes, you mean Arkansas?
Arkansas. Darius Acuff Jr. for Arkansas, though. Looks like he had a good game. I think his stock is rising significantly going into 14 free throws. Damn, son.
And today we have Duke up against St. John's. That's the early game. Then it's Michigan, Alabama, Michigan State, UConn, and Iowa State, Tennessee. So Duke, Michigan, Iowa State, and UConn would be the favorites in that. And then on Saturday, there's 2 games already set: Arizona versus Purdue and Illinois, Iowa. So you're getting close now.
Can the Hawkeyes continue their hot streak?
Well, I'm going to tune into Paul Sir on Saturday and find out what
There's no Paul Sir this Saturday. It is Hoop City with Paul Sir guest hosting Josh Fenwick.
Well, where's Paul Sir?
He is on family vacation this weekend and I believe next weekend.
You know, it's funny because when I was driving in today, I did glance at the Edmonton skyline and it felt like one of the skyscrapers was missing.
That
would be Paul Sir.
Him and his family are taking a trip down south.
Can you imagine them in a car, like Sir driving 8 hours with his height? You'd have to have some kind of wonky vehicle.
I can't imagine they're driving. I believe they're flying.
Well, of course they are.
But that can't be very comfortable either.
No, they gotta have them in cargo.
Oh, yeah.
Just strap them to a wing.
That's probably it. He might take up too much room as a traditional check bag.
Just so you know, Paul Sir is one of the kindest, sweetest men in the world.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Me talking about him this way is just alarming.
And I work for him, so I get to say whatever I want.
There you go. All right. Very busy day. When are we doing declinations and what are we doing? Or are we doing it at all?
We are doing declinations. Mackenzie and I have briefly discussed it. We have not come up with a topic yet. However, we will have one for 12:40, I promise you.
Okay.
And if not, we will push it back to 1:40.
Okay. Perhaps when I take a break at 12:35, we could tell the folks about it.
Absolutely. All right. I think we can make that work.
Okay. And Steve Lansky at 1 o'clock. On the way, though, it's Rumors. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Country. Your seat is closer than you think. Starting at just $28 a week with a deposit-free payment plan available. Securing your full, half, and quarter season seats inside Rogers Place for the 2026-27 season has never been easier. Sign up for pre-sale access at edmontonoilers.com/season seats. Experience all that Rogers Place has to offer during an Oilers game night by visiting edmontonoilers.com/season seats.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
For many families, the stress of divorce can throw your life out of balance. The loss of a relationship, ongoing conflict, mounting legal bills, and uncertainty about the future can feel overwhelming. Hi, I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. At Fairway, our team helps you restore balance through mediation, negotiation, and a unique step-by-step process. With 2 offices in Edmonton dedicated to serving your needs, our goal is simple: to help you navigate a path back to peace and clarity. Visit us today at Fairway Divorce.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text VALUE to 780-777-7777 to start. That's VALUE to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money. Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all sevens. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
This year, instead of a short winter getaway from the cold, what if you took a permanent winter getaway from your hair loss? Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, inviting you to come plan your winter transformation. I've helped thousands of Edmonton men and women get their hair and their confidence back. Many of them preferred the winter. Cooler temperatures are great for recovery, and winter hats can keep everything discreet. Trips are nice, but this winter, choose to invest in your vessel. Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
The weather doesn't care about your shift or your schedule. Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts let you battle back against the ever-changing elements. Carhartt's durable, water-repellent technology lets light rain beat up and roll right off. Layer up and stay on the job longer without getting drenched. Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Job site workwear, tough different jobs.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 at 1225. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's truck month. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. So that's a person calling themselves a teenage dirtbag. Is that the name of that song?
Yes, that is correct. Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus.
Now, we compare that to the Cyndi Lauper song, Time After Time, which is a beautiful song about an individual talking about themselves. And I think maybe from the point of view of knowing who you are and your own self-esteem, that teenage bag baby maybe isn't the way to go, and Time After Time is the way to go.
I think next I'm going to play Jesse's Girl. Same sort of gist as Teenage Dirtbag. She's not too pleased with herself, or I forget what it is, but it's the same sort of gist about adultery, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's anyway, anything is way better than the Stones lyrics. I think we can all agree with that. Although I love the Stones. It's time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. Okay, lots happening. Lots and lots and lots happening. I'm going to read this from Rahul because it pertains to the game last night, and I do think it's word perfect here. Lowetide, that was a textbook game from Dr. 25. That is what he needs to do night in and night out, and he would be worth every dime in his contract. Bring that fire and nastiness. We need him to be tougher to play against, and it begins with him. See, I do think that there's a lot of angst about that, but I also think the Oilers want him on the ice. That was a weird play. It was clearly a missed elbow on Dickinson, and hell went crazy during that period afterwards. And Nurse is so strong. I don't know why anybody would ever engage Nurse, right? Because he is really, really strong. But that physicality, certainly, I thought that pairing played well, and the team played well too. It was the kind of game where in recent times the Oilers have had, been pushed a little bit physically and didn't push back. They definitely did against Vegas. And I wish they would bring that game against either of the Florida teams. Perhaps we'll see that in times to come fairly soon. It would take a final. But I also want to read Connor Halley sending out a text last night during the game. Connor said, McDavid not passing on a 3-1 is what dreams are made of. Hell yes. The Oilers they're brilliant. They are brilliant, but they also are a little bit predictable. And McDavid, their outlet passes are predictable. McDavid's a little bit predictable because he's a pass-first guy. I mean, he's got 80 assists, for God's sake. But that when he shoots the puck, he's a great shooter, and he's accurate, and it is a surprise. He could do that for 40 games in a row, and it would still be a surprise to the goaltender. I love it. I was one of the things, aside from the penalty kill, which I'm over the moon about. I would marry that penalty kill if I wasn't already married. That's how much I liked it. But McDavid shooting, fantastic. Really fantastic.
Did you see him say goal scoring does not come easy for me?
Yeah.
As he has 402 goals, I believe. So I was like, all right, Connor.
Yeah.
I believe you on a lot of things you say, but that one, I can't buy in on.
I think his brain is wired to pass. A lot of hockey players are like that. You include everybody, right? St. Louis Blues front office, this is by Darren Dreger, is changing with Kevin Maxwell and Peter Chiarelli leaving the club. The news is here. Chiarelli apparently a candidate in Nashville in their interview process. So, I mean, we know what Peter Chiarelli does when he's the general manager of a team. Just saying. Might some opportunities come your way if you're another NHL team in the days to come. I really, and I won't go on about it even though I already have, I really was just so impressed with the Oilers' penalty kill in overtime last night. The goal was great. Don't get me wrong. Goal doesn't happen unless they do that fantastic penalty kill. It really was truly brilliant. The Oilers have signed somebody, and it's a defenseman. And look, you never know. You never know when this is a period of time where you're just signing guys who are interested in coming to play for you. You have the amount of money that they want. Maybe you're outbidding some other teams. But Thomas Cibulka is a 21-year-old left-handed defenseman with good wheels, not a big player. He's played the last couple of years in for Budovici in the Czech League. Before that, he was in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, undrafted, 6 foot 170. Some defensive work. As soon as you say 6 foot 170, you know that he's not going to win a lot of battles along the wall, but he can close a gap, obviously. He may not be good at it now, but that skill will get to him. And he's what we would call, in the modern parlance, a puck mover. Back in the old days, we had other phrases we'd use like headman pass. He's good at the headman pass. So with this particular player, he'll likely go to Bakersfield. That would be my guess next year. And he would be vying for work with Atro Lepinen, Damian Carfagna, Riley Stillman, somewhere in there. But this is a player, they've done well. Trust me on this. Since Dan Bowman got here, they signed a German center in Szymanski. He's playing in the NHL and playing well. It looks like he's going to be part of the future. They signed Carfagna, who's, again, not a big defender, but has great wheels and can move the puck and is improving defensively. His outscoring in the AHL, along with Bo Akey, is the best on the team, including the veterans. And then they signed Marhola, Quinn Hudson out of college. They've done well. They are targeting the right people, and we'll find out about this young player as time goes on, and I'll write about him tomorrow at The Athletic. But I think that Bowman and his staff have done enough that you can accept that this is a substantial signing just on the fact they went and got him. And I know you're going, come on. I'm saying the days of Gaetan Haas may be past. And nothing wrong with Gaetan Haas. But this fellow is 21 and he has room to grow. When you sign a guy like Lepinen, you're like, okay, man, it's now or never. And then they re-signed him because they might see something for him to do next year on the roster. But this young fellow that they just signed, 21, you're going to be 2 years in the AHL before you ever see him, unless he's brilliant. And maybe he is, but that would be fantastic. From the point of view of what the Oilers are doing, this is far better than making a trade. Get a guy in the system, who's coming up behind Carfagna and Naki, who had their AHL debuts this year. Always a good idea to sign the college and the European guys, especially if they're players that others are pursuing. And I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out about him. I mean, he may never see the NHL, but it's better than, trading Mike Kesselring away for 3 months of a center who's going to leave via free agency anyway. Sorry I had to do that, but I'm very dry. Does anybody else have problems when spring comes, coughing or sneezing or having a dry throat, or is it just me?
I know our very own Declan Krueger has that problem because he has allergies.
Yeah.
And so he gets very sniffly and stuffed up for like a month and a half.
I just thought he was mad. Isn't that interesting?
No, I mean, that's the other, 10.5 months of the year. He is just mad.
Right.
But for those 1.5 months in the middle, he's mad and also stuffed up because of all the fuzz and things.
Yeah. And the oatmeal.
Can't forget about that. Oh, oatmeal always comes after that, though. It's what sets him off in a rage for a whole year is the oatmeal.
What I love is he was slamming cupboard doors and he kept denying he was slamming.
And he said, I'm not slamming them. He was definitely slamming them.
And then his girlfriend says, no, I believe you slammed the doors.
That is irrefutable proof that we were right and he was wrong, except he's far too proud to say he's wrong. I don't get those sniffles or anything, however.
And I think that's a maturity thing, right? Because Declan is a very fair-minded person. You can see that he is not an individual who's going to be outrageous in his inability to adjust as he moves through his life. I think he's going to be a fantastic human being for his entire life. But we all have
he didn't slap a
foibles.
phone out of your hand, though.
Well,
so
that's true.
I have a different perspective.
But he questions me. Yesterday he said, I think you're losing it. So there's there's that little edgy thing. But I think he is going to be an adaptable person. When people say something to him, I think he listens, and that's an advantage, even at that young age.
Well, that's a nice hope.
Well, I have the same hope for you, sir. So,
no, I'm a lost cause. Sorry.
No. So how far are you into your whatever you call this thing?
Oh, my internship?
Yeah.
Pretty far.
Are you?
April will be my last.
Oh, geez, that's coming right up.
Couple weeks or so. Because I started a week later than like everyone else in my class. So I go a week later. So I can't really remember the actual end date off the top of my head.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yes, I've loved it.
Is this a career you would like to pursue?
Yes.
And what area of the career? Is it more like the nuts and bolts, the behind the scenes, the producing, or would it maybe on air?
Maybe a little of both. Like I've enjoyed everything I've done.
Right.
Actually had a conversation with one of the ladies in sales a few weeks ago, and she had said something I learned was be what they need, and then you can be what you want.
Yeah.
And that's kind of stuck with me. So I'm good to just do whatever somebody needs.
That's really good advice.
That's what we call the Josh Fenwick career arc.
Yeah. I never was able to do that. I could only do 3 things, but they were all of value.
Hey.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I was on, when I was your age, from the time I was about 21 until about 30, when our children came along, I did remotes almost every Saturday because I could do remotes, right? And I had a suit. You never know. So, anyway, so you've got a few more weeks, so we'll look forward to that. But I wanted to check in on you. Is your family happy with your career choice? Are they saying get a backup job?
No, I think my family, they all have been really supportive, honestly. My mom, for like the first 2 months, I want to say, she would call me almost every day after I was done. And then the last like 2 weeks, we've barely talked, and I finally FaceTimed her, and she was like, I was just giving you your space, letting you feel some things out and stuff. And one of my uncles, he is a big listener of the station.
Oh, good.
So he always tells me if he hears me or what he thinks about what is said on the station and stuff. But we're usually pretty on par with our thought process and stuff. He's a pretty smart guy. So I listen to what he has to say.
That's really good intel you're getting from your uncle.
Yep.
My dad, I was in radio 10 years, and he asked me before I got into radio, before I took the Columbia School of Broadcasting, and 10 years after I was in the industry and gainfully employed and had never lost a job until the previous station shut down. And he would always say, have a backup plan. What's your backup plan? Have you changed your backup plan? I've been thinking about your backup plan. It's not really a good one. So
yeah,
I think it's better to just have people believe in you.
Yeah. This is kind of my last, like, because I can't see myself doing something that I don't love and that I'm not passionate about.
Yeah.
So if this doesn't work out, I'm going to really have to go back to the drawing board and figure some things out.
But you're one thing I would just say to you, I don't want this to turn into Lowetide rambles, although every segment is. If you like it, there are things that you can pursue. This is a burgeoning industry, not just the radio side, but the podcast and everything else. So you are in a really good place in terms of your age to, if you really want to do this, which involves long hours and little pay, then I think you've chosen the right place.
Yeah, I agree.
The radio has always been, I started in 1980, June 15th of 1980. And I know, because I have buddies who are in bigger houses than me, that I could have gone to a more lucrative job description, but I've had a blast, and I've worked in sales. I've worked on air. I worked in the newsroom. I read sports. I've done pretty much everything except engineering and producing, because they won't let me. And it's a great industry. It really is.
Producing's tough. You love to give us crap for what happens back here, but I guess if you never did it.
Mackenzie, did you hear it? I heard a voice, but I didn't. It was
I don't know who that was.
Yeah. Weird how the wind just blows into the studio like that. It's in the middle of a radio station.
I think the Oilers gave up too soon and didn't give the right opportunities to Tomasic. Pretty sure if he would have gotten more minutes, he would have been great. Here's what I'll say. Kirby, he missed so many chances. Honest to God, he on the power play, they had him on the power play, and he just couldn't get it. And it's a hands business. And so I think that if he'd cashed a few of those, I agree, he'd still be here. But you're burning daylight when you're not scoring on the power play, and especially this power play, which is like heaven sent. Okay, Nick says, look at the San Jose Sharks, lots of prospects and draft capital. Damn it, I'm late. Chicago and Anaheim have also a young talent team with prospects and draft capital. The young Lions are going to take over the Pride, and the Oilers window is shut. Sure. Okay, so what's coming up? Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it later?
Josh,
we can do it now.
Okay.
Mackenzie brought up a great topic. What would our Norris ballots be?
Oh, excellent.
So,
great time for this.
We'll talk about that coming up on Declination's brackets, joshing around with Mackenzie McLennan.
Wow, that doesn't sound like a tag on at all.
No,
we
not at
work
all.
on
Not
that.
in the slightest.
Yeah.
Well, normally it's just called joshing around when Declan's not here. But
Okay.
alas.
Well, all right. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back with prices so low, they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners, up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Buy more, save more. Up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoor with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
The WHL playoffs return to Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat. Tonight, your Edmonton Oil Kings have home ice advantage as they face the Saskatoon Blades in Game 1 of their first-round series. Then, Family Fun Sunday, your Oil Kings turn up the heat for Game 2 with Saskatoon. Special 2 p.m. puck drop with pregame bouncy castles, face painting, and more. Plus, at every playoff home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. Edmonton Oil Kings, Saskatoon Blades. Game 1 tonight at 7. Game 2 Sunday. Great seats at Rogers Place. Start at only $20. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving. through this.
Being a living organ donor is a noble, life-changing act. But there's more than one way to be a hero. Join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence. As an employer, you can give the gift of time and remove financial barriers to make employee donations easier. You'll earn recognition, a raised corporate profile, employee satisfaction, and of course, be a huge part in saving lives in desperate need. Support the sacrifice of living donors. Discover how to join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence program today at kidney.ca.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit sports encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
If you really listen to the lyric, yeah. It is time for Declinations, brought to you by Fairway Divorce Solutions. The clear road to a new life. There is a better way. Fairwaydivorce.com. And now, Josh and Mackenzie are going to give us their Norris Trophy ballots. 1, 2, 3. Is that how deep you're going?
We're going 5-1.
5-1. Right on.
Give you the top 5.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So I'll lead off here. My number 5, I have the young kid in New York, Matthew Schaefer. 73 games played, 54 points. He has 22 goals in his first year in the league as a defenseman. I think the energy and effort he provides for the Islanders is a big indicator of the Islanders' success this year. So for me, I have him. He doesn't have a sniff at winning, but
he is such
unreal.
Yeah, he's
really unreal. 54 points as a rookie. Like, this is some good stuff.
Why wasn't he on Team Canada?
That's a wonderful question, because Colton Parayko needed to be there.
Ice the puck, Colton Parayko had to be there.
All right, number 5, Mackenzie.
Okay. So, my number 5, I'm going to go with another young guy, with Lane Hudson. I feel like that's kind of high for him, but I've seen some people have him at number 3, and I don't think it's too high. It's too high.
Way too high.
Way too high. Because if you're going to keep Bouchard off your ballot, you can't really have Hudson in there. That's just my take. He has 11 goals, 58 assists over 70 games.
69 points.
69 points. So
Nice.
basically a point per game player, just short of it.
Which is incredible at his age.
Yes,
Yeah.
very. And a 20 plus 28 rating, which last year he had a -2. But I still think you need to see more from him.
But I mean, that's a really good spot for him based on the
Yeah,
experience he
right?
has. Yeah.
All right. Very nice. My number 4, we're talking about one of the best D-men in the league, the best D-man 5-on-5. Give me Cale Makar, falling just short of the finalists. I mean, he's got 71 points, 71 games, so he is a point per game guy, 20 goals, 51 assists. I think he'd probably have more if their power play wasn't so terrible. I mean, like, I can't get over how bad their power play is down there in Colorado, but he's so good 5-on-5. I mean, that whole Avalanche team is, and him being a quarterback on that team, a driving force in what it is that they're doing, night in and night out, just absolutely putting the boots to people. I can't not have Cale Makar on this list.
Yep. He said that's a great choice. I would be surprised, but he has not had as great a year as he usually does. But 4 is,
Well, it's hard to follow up 92 points.
Yeah, true.
All right, my number 4 is Rasmus Dahlin. because they had a slow start, but going from it was 28th in the NHL and they're second in the standings right now, I think.
Yes, I believe they're second in the East.
Amazing.
So he's had 37 points, 11 goals in the last 30 games, and a plus 23 rating. And I think you've seen him really evolve through his career. And this has been the best team season, but he's really led the charge in that. And yeah, I think it's time to start having the conversation about Dahlin and how good he actually is. And I listened to 32 Thoughts this morning, and they were talking about how hardworking he is. He's always the first one on the ice, last one to leave practice. So that carries weight for me.
Yep, like I think a player who that entire organization, they deserve better. So hopefully they can follow through and have a good run.
It would be so nails to see the Sabres in the Stanley Cup final. It's not even funny to me.
You know what? I fully agree with you. I mean, why not, right? Like, why not? Why can't they do it? It's overdue. And just because the general managers in a series of moves screwed it up, why, they shouldn't have to pay for it. And Dahlin would be an example of that.
Kevin Adams, executive of the year.
No.
Should be.
Yeah.
Anyways, my number 3. You're welcome, Oilers fans. Evan Bouchard.
There you go.
Evan Bouchard. Yeah, I mean, he leads all D-men in points, obviously. He has 20 goals in the season. I believe Kevin said he was the 6th ever Oiler to do that, maybe 5th. I can't totally remember. He's plus 21 when he's on the ice. And that's only 10 worse than Cale Makar. And for how bad the Oilers have been, that's mighty impressive. And also, he is literally the quarterback on the best power play historically in the NHL. So, there's got to be some consideration taken into that. And also, he's played really good defense down the stretch here. I mean, I know everyone, especially me, harps on how bad he looked in October and that first half of November. But basically, he turned it around and he hasn't really looked back since then. He's still prone to a mistake here and there, but it's not as egregious or as often as it was to start the year or even looking back at years prior.
All fair. All
right. My number 3 is Cale Makar. I think because he's so good, he's having a season where you just expect him to have the points and the plus minus and all of that. And from January to February, he only tallied 15 points over 22 games with a -5 rating. Just saying, if we're going to talk about the low points of Bouchard, you need to talk about the low points of Cale Makar. And yeah, it's just the expectation, and it's not a knock on him or anything like that. I just feel like there's other guys that are reaching new levels to their game, whereas Cale Makar, you know what you're getting. And yeah.
Yeah. The at 5-on-5 in Colorado, just to give you an idea, when Makar's on the ice at 5-on-5, Colorado has a 65% goal share. They have a 63% goal share when he's off the ice. They're really good, and he's a part of it. Now, when Bouchard is on the ice for the Oilers, they're at 55%. When he's off the ice, they're at 42%. So Josh's point and Mackenzie's point about two different players, Makar and Bouchard, is, I think, pertinent and poignant, because it is true. The Oilers are much better with Bouchard on the ice than off, and the Avalanche don't lose that much. They're that good this year without Makar.
Yeah. My number 2, give me Quinn Hughes. I mean, we're at 70 points on the year. He's a plus 28 when he's on the ice, plus 16 here in Minnesota now, and 41 games played with them. He's so good two-way. He's so, he only has 6 goals on the year, but he finds the right person, it seems like, every time. And then he, in my opinion, does a very good job of identifying where he's supposed to be on the ice, particularly on the rush. So give me Quinn Hughes, my number 2.
That's a very good choice.
Yeah. Did you see the game winner last night? Him and Brock Faber
I did
switched
totally
spots.
Yeah.
And then Faber got the pass back after the face-off win, sent it to Quinn Hughes. They won.
He's just so smart.
Yeah. My number 2 is Zach Werenski.
Oh, man.
It had to be 2 or 1, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I can't believe it.
You know what, Josh? This is my list, and I can do what I want.
It's her
So
list.
I don't care.
She can't miss. I accept it. You definitely missed.
I don't care. And you know what? I don't want to have Quinn Hughes on it. And
But that's okay. You,
Oh, no,
you-
hey,
you-
I'm not-
You can
Yeah.
speak your mind.
Yeah.
And, we
and
will
I'm
listen.
going to do what I want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Werenski, the Blue Jackets are where they are because of Werenski. We've had this conversation a ton. And yeah, he has a 43.1 share of possible ice time, which is crazy.
And his puck IQ has the minutes played against elite competition. He's a more complete defenseman than some of these other guys.
Yeah.
No.
But also, if we're going to take into account Cale Bouchard's missteps in the beginning of the season, you also need to take into account postseason, which Werenski has never been in.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what he would be like in that situation.
I got good news for Zach Werenski. It's a regular season award. And my God,
I do not care.
The Columbus Blue Jackets would not be anywhere without this guy. Like they really turned it around when they got bonus, but he does everything for this team. He scores, he passes, he defends like a madman against the other team's best players. Like my number one is Zach Werenski, in case I didn't say that. But like, I think hands down, far and away, should be the Norris winner this year, because without him, we're talking about the Blue Jackets looking like I'd say Calgary Flames, not a Vancouver Canucks, because it's very hard to be that bad. But they are nowhere near where they're at if they're without Zach Werenski.
Against elites, 39% of his time against elites, 60% goal share, and a dangerous Fenwick of 51.8%, which is 3.5% clear of his relative to his other defensive mates on Columbus. It has been a fantastic year, healthy year for Zach Werenski. Your number one.
My number one is Evan Bouchard. And you know what? I'm going to get flack for it. And I really don't care, because like Josh said, Bouchard is the quarterback of the best power play that we have ever seen. And he is one of the most clutch players we've seen as well. I see Josh's face. What?
No,
you continue. Please
Okay.
continue.
Yeah.
Like that goal last night, just a great wrist shot, and he knows where to be in those situations. Yes, he has his missteps, but again, Cale Makar has them, Quinn Hughes has them, Lane Hudson has them, Werenski has them as well. And he just continues to elevate his game. Like every time you think there's not another level, there is. And you could make the argument that McDavid, Draisaitl, that entire team would not have the goals, points, wins without Bouchard. And he is a core piece of that team into what they have done and what they will do.
Yeah, he's Evan Bouchard. I gave you the Werenski stats from Puck IQ. 37% against elites, so almost exactly what Werenski is doing. His dangerous Fenwick is 55% relative to the rest of the Oilers. That's 10% better, as opposed to 3.5 for Werenski, and he's at 64% in actual goal share against elites. I would vote for Evan Bouchard for the Norris Trophy. Where did I have a vote? It won't happen. There is a bias against puck-moving defensemen. I think he cost himself in October and November, and he wouldn't win it. I think both, you've identified the two that are the best, Werenski and Bouchard, but I would go Bouchard. You were going to say something, young man.
No, I just like. Now I have to look at where what the actual record is for the Columbus Blue Jackets, because like we all know like how bad the Oilers have been at times. Like Bouchard's put up points as well. Again, like he leads all defensemen. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. Maybe he's the only consistent part of this team, but like my God, they are so streaky, and the Jackets are just like they play in a tougher conference, and like I just when I look at Zach Werenski, I look at a guy that's like this is hands down to me right now this season the best defenseman in the league.
Well, I think they're both worthy candidates, and I did mention that Bouchard is like a monster on the ice compared to off the ice. It's like 60% to 42. When Werenski's on the ice for the Columbus Blue Jackets at 5-on-5, this is against all quality of opposition. They're at 57%. And when he's off the ice, they're at 49.4. So the gap is not as large between Columbus with Werenski on and off than Bouchard on and off. But Josh makes a great point about the quality of competition in the Eastern Conference. So it's a good conversation, and I don't think either of you are wrong. Look forward to the result. We have to be late for the break, are we?
Yeah, we got to go.
Okay. All right. On the way, Lansky, and more of your comments about that, about the penalty kill and more. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Josh.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Just 2 games in the NHL tonight. Red Wings in Buffalo taking on the Sabres, and the Rangers are hosting the Blackhawks. The Edmonton Oilers have signed defenseman Thomas Sabolka to a 2-year entry-level contract starting next season out of the top league in Czechia. In over 90 regular season games, he had 13 goals and 42 points. WHL playoffs underway. The Oil Kings at home hosting the Saskatoon Blades. Puck drop at 7. There's 7 other games in the WHL playoffs, all starting around the same time. In the AJ playoffs, there are 3 games. Whitecourt hosts Fort McMurray. Camrose is in Drumheller, and Calgary meets up with Canmore in Canmore. Over in the MLB, it's Blue Jays opening day as they host the Athletics. Gosman on the bump for the Birds. First pitch just after 5. 7 other games around the majors. Earliest of the games sees the Yankees and Giants going head-to-head at 2:30 just after 2:30 this afternoon. Marlins and Rockies get their seasons underway. Braves hosting the Royals. Angels in Houston taking on the Astros. Mariners, Guardians, Tigers, Padres, and Diamondbacks, Dodgers. 10 games on the hard court tonight as the Toronto Raptors are back in action hosting the Pelicans. Tip-off at 6:30. Cleveland hosts Miami, and the late game sees the Nets in LA taking on the Lakers. Coming up on the Lowdown with Lowetide, we'll be joined by Steve Lansky. I'm Josh Fenwick. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, McCarr, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month, featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. I cannot believe how many bands we've played today in the bumper music that sound like the Cars that isn't actually the Cars. I mean, it's got to be a world record. Wow. Nobody cares, but I wanted to say it. We are now joined by our friend Steve Lansky, who probably bought the first Cars album and loved it. How are you, Steve?
I'm good. Rick Ocasek was way too much to look at, so no, there was no Cars.
Well, what about Benjamin Orr? He sang Drive, which is a great song.
No. Rick, they lost me at Rick, and they never got me back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Their album cover art was good.
Yeah, you could say that about a lot of bands, though.
That's true.
I think the Cars are fine, but I'm not. If they're playing across the street this afternoon, I'm not going.
Yeah, I get that. I understand. Spoons came to town last November. I went to see them. Had a blast, an absolute blast, Steve.
You know what I love about you? What? You're a real music guy.
Yes.
Like. It's not just one genre. It's not just. I'm sure you could talk a bit about country music. You could talk a bit about folk music. I love that. I love people who love a full body of something, whether it's sports, music, you name it. That's always impressed me. It always will.
Full body of music and beer. That's me. That's all you need to know. All right. The Oilers won last night in Vegas, but I was so happy with the penalty kill. That's all I wanted to talk about today. In overtime, Hyman takes a penalty, and like it's 4-on-3. Steve, you know how often those work. It's like backdoor, bingo, bango. Nobody can cover. The goalie's out of position. It's over. Vegas never got to that, and I think part of it was the Oilers penalty killed so damn well.
Listen, if you're determined to do something, you can do it. And I mean, I understand Hyman takes that penalty. Like, he lets him get by. He's one-on-one with Ingram. That's probably the end of that. So you got to take the penalty. But I've said this 1,000 times, if you got determination above everything else, you are not going to lose much. Whether it's lose a power play, lose a game, lose a series, it's not going to happen. But how do you implant that? Who knows? It seemed to work last night.
Yeah, it did. I thought they were flying pretty high. Obviously, these are important games without Leon Draisaitl, and they still have a chance to win the division. That would be part of that would be a win against Anaheim on the weekend. But Vegas is a funny team for Edmonton because as much as they played very hard and it was a very physical game, the Oilers beat Vegas not like a rented mule, but often enough to be confident if they played each other in the playoffs. Do you agree?
Yeah, fact. And the only thing I'd say is I think Aiden Hill's a bit of an anomaly. Like, I know won a Stanley Cup, but I'm not sure he's a Stanley Cup winning goaltender. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a bit of a misconception there that maybe the Oilers have figured out, like, this guy's beatable. I know he's got, some hardware, but this guy's beatable. And I think that helps when you're playing a team that, everybody else thinks they're this big bad monster, but, it's like the Russians with Tretiak. If you figure out how to beat Tretiak, you're probably going to beat them. So I think there's a bit of a smoke and mirrors with Vegas, for me anyway.
Before we move on to baseball, and we will, I just want to ask you a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a team that when I watch them, sometimes they play well, but they're very inconsistent. The season is gone. The rope has been cut. They're not going to make the playoffs. Some people blame the Marner deal. I think they just didn't have enough skill coming back, and their defense wasn't great. And we know that they'll retool here in the summer. But my question to you is, and you are two things. You follow the Leafs closely, and you are very hard on them. And I don't think unfair, but you're hard on them. So how far up the chain would you go in replacing management, coaching, personnel in terms of what you would do with the Toronto Maple Leafs this summer?
That's a really good question. So at the top of the pillar is a guy named Keith Pelly that most people may not know. He runs MLSE. I've worked with him multiple times. I will skip the part where I tell you what I think or don't think about Keith Pelly. Okay. So then we start to move down, and now we're into general manager. Brendan Shanahan was there, and then now Brad Treliving, different roles. One's the president, one, So we're going, and then we're going down to Craig Berube on the bench. I don't know what the solution is, because I will say this. I've got to weigh it. Yeah, I'm going to weigh it. Keith Pelly's not a hockey guy. He's never going to be a hockey guy. He's got a lot of opinions on a lot of things, but one of them shouldn't be hockey. Wow, I guess I did say it, didn't I? So you've got to get the right people at the top of that organization. If Keith is going to stay there, fine. But then who's that next person? And part of the problem, I think, in Toronto, I really believe this, is that whoever takes that role next, whoever takes over as GM, whoever takes over as coach, if there are changes, oh my God, they're the second, they are going to be the greatest thing. I have never seen a city bite onto somebody's rear end and love them so hard as I have Toronto. And I don't know if that's desperation. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. You don't have to prove anything in Toronto. You just have to show up. The guy's a winner. How the hell do you know? What did Brad Treliving ever win? No offense, Brad. What? Craig Berube won one Stanley Cup when he came from 32nd. Oh, sorry, I'm going long. I know I'm going long on this answer. He came from 32nd. He got in the playoffs. The Blues won the Stanley Cup. Congratulations. Oh, Craig Berube's going to solve it all. Mike Babcock's going to solve it all. BS. Almost said a bad word. Absolute BS. These guys have, there's nothing there. It's smoke and mirrors from the top down, including the guy I've already talked about. I don't know how you solve that. That's a crappy answer to that question. I don't know how you solve that. It may not be solvable.
Well, and they had Dubas, and now he's in Pittsburgh, and he looks like he's farther ahead than they are. And I think that must, that has to be, if there are disgruntled Maple Leafs fans, and I'm sure there are, that has to be frustrating. And as difficult as the Oilers season has been, I think I think if they have another year that is disappointing like this in Toronto, then they will have to think about, having some big time names exit. And that's going to be a tough summer. Maybe the toughest since, Sittler took the C off, or I don't know what other one, Lanny got traded. It's going to be tough times in Toronto.
Roger wore the bag on his head. That's the one you want. Ballard wanted him to wear the bag on his head and he refused. Yeah. So it's funny because you said Kyle Dubas. The only reason he left, the only reason they tend to make changes there is there tend to be these personality conflicts. I don't like him. Well, I don't like him. Well, I don't like him. Well, I don't like him. And the next thing you know, it's all coming apart. And this has happened more times than I can count. It's like it's grade school and they haven't figured out how to run a business. And I don't know why that is. We've talked about it before. You put on a Maple Leafs jersey, you're God in Toronto. You don't even have to be able to handle the puck. I'm sure I love Nick Kyprios. I'm sure he hasn't bought a meal in forever. And superstar, he was not. But he's a Toronto Maple Leaf, so he's in our hearts forever. I don't get that, especially when you have won literally nothing since 1967.
Steve Lansky, our guest on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide from Inside the Truck podcast. This is why we have him on, because he's all worked up now. And that's what I did. You see what I did? I knew I could go to a place.
We all saw what you did, dude. You turned the blender on.
And now I can slide into the Toronto Blue Jays and the home opener tonight. I see that Springer, Lukes, Guerrero, Barger, Kirk, Varsho, Okamoto, Clement, and Jimenez are the starting lineup. Gosman, the starter, against the Athletics, who have the bats but very little pitching. This is going to be hopefully a fantastic year. After last year, I imagine the ratings will be through the roof tonight.
I would think so. And no Buck Martinez on TV. He's retired. Joe Siddle. I assume they're going to be there tonight. He's going to be with Dan Schulman. Did you say Okamoto's batting 6th? I heard you read that order, but I didn't.
I believe it's 6. Let me check while you talk.
Yeah. Anyway, I think you listed him as 7?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So it's going to be a great year. As a matter of fact, I'm going on what day am I going? The Saturday, the 11th, something like that. We're going to watch them play. So I'll get a nice look firsthand. But now this is a pressure year for them in Toronto because there haven't been that many changes. And I realize Savage isn't there to start. And Barrios, whether he was going to be or not, is not. And I looked at their first 5 starters. Scherzer's in the 5 slot. I'm not so sure about that. I think pitching, as always, is going to be an issue. The batting order should not be an issue. In fact, it should be one of the best in Major League Baseball. But they always struggle sometimes at the start. And that would be what I want to keep an eye on. I wouldn't want them to come out 5-8. I'd want them to come out 9-2. I think that would be really telling.
It's I like their starters. I'm never happy with the relievers until I see them because, reputation. A starter has like 3 pitches, and if one isn't working, you go to another. But when you bring in a reliever, chances are they got a fastball and an off-speed pitch, and if they can't locate them, then you're in trouble, even though you brought them in with men on first and second. So I'd like to see that. But I do like Akamoto. I'm enjoying the fact that they have a lot of those young guys who emerged, Clement, Barger, others, Luke's, last year that are still here. I don't know which any of them are any damn good. And I know in baseball, you can identify your guy. You can say Ellis Valentine's going to be better than Andre Dawson, going to be better than Warren Cromartie, and then he isn't for whatever reason. So you can never be sure. But I really like the players that are developing, and I'll be interested to see how they go this year.
So Ernie Clement set a Major League Baseball record with 30 hits in the postseason. Addison Barger was lights out after sleeping on the couch in the postseason, made that diving catch in whatever game it was of the World Series. The only problem with those guys carrying that on is pitchers will start to figure them out. Pitchers will start to figure out, because everybody has a way that you can get them out. High and tight, low and away. They will bite on pitches, and pitchers will figure it out. It's Major League Baseball. The question is, can they overcome that? Some guys never do. They have a great rookie season, and they just disappear. And some guys do figure it out. Hey, I can make this modification. I can make that. There's no way to know. But that's the beauty of watching 162. Is you can see, are they figuring it out? Are they not figuring it out? I'm with you. The bullpen scares the living crap out of me. It's probably always going to scare the crap out of me. Jeff Hoffman, sometimes I can't watch. It's a little bit like Rick Ocasek. I got to close my eyes and pray, and my wife says, "Hey, you got him out," and I'm like, right on.
You brought that full circle like a genius.
Huh? How's that, my friend? How's that?
I am in awe of you, sir.
You'd think I'd been doing this for 1,000 years. Wouldn't you?
It's true. And but I see your video, and you're much younger looking than that. Are you still watching some AJ, some junior hockey out there?
Calgary Canucks, Canmore Eagles, 2-2 in the series. Game 5 tonight. Game 6 Sunday in Calgary. They could wrap that baby and go on to play drum or probably Camrose. Yeah, I am. I don't know if you saw the game the other night. Canucks scored 4 goals in the first 5 minutes. It's the craziest start I've ever seen in my life.
Camrose won Wednesday like 6-0. I think they can close it out here tonight. So
I think it's 3-1 for them over drum. Yeah.
Yeah. So it should be interesting. All right, man. Have a great weekend. This was a highly entertaining segment, and I hope that your heart rate didn't go too high when I asked you about the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I did it on purpose.
Dude, if you knew what kind of a day it's been for me, this is the best 15 minutes of my whole day by 1,000 miles. I won't even go into it. It's been great talking to you.
All right. Love it. There you go. Steve Lansky, Inside the Truck podcast. It's a wonderful podcast. Listen to it if you get a chance, and he brings opinions just like he did here. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Center has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French.
Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way. For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you? Who, me? No way. I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Truck Month. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Jason Gregor coming in at 2 o'clock today. Talk about last night's game, that penalty kill, overtime goal, Darnell Nurse, Connor Murphy. Lots to talk about. Dickinson line. I'm really liking Matt Savoy and Pod Colson with Connor McDavid. You know, McDavid's stolen Leon's line mates before. Maybe it'll happen again. The one thing about Leon is he can play with damn near anybody. With Josh and me out there, Mackenzie can penalty kill. Like Dickinson.
I don't think he could play with me. I haven't played puck in a long time.
Well, what I play could not reasonably be called hockey. So you'd probably be the skill winger on the line.
I guess so.
Yeah. By the way, you guys caused quite a furor with your Bouchard/Werenski debate, and people were texting in like lickety split and mad.
Well, I think a lot of people are more upset that I had Bouch 3, which might have been an oversight on my behalf, for sure. It should probably be 1, 2. I very quickly made my list. However, it remains the same. I think Zach Werenski should win the Norris.
I don't think Evan Bouchard will because of the bias. Werenski's a little more complete player, and I've said before, I don't think Bouchard will ever win because he doesn't. Part of this is the way, like, people like Erik Karlsson was a mad skater when he won the first time, and Makar is just like a magician. Bouchard is more subtle. He's more of a cerebral player. He's a good skater, don't get me wrong. But even Bouchard looks borderline disinterested. It's not his fault. It's the way people can't help how they look. But he does look, he has a little bit of that, and back in the olden days, we'd say he's, ice runs in his veins, man. He's so cool, calm, and collected. But there's so much video, and we run mistakes over and over again, and he plays big minutes. So my own feeling is that Bouchard will never win a Norris Trophy. Does that mean he earned one? Sure. But that's the way the world goes. Sometimes players, Jari Kurri, unbelievably, never won a major award. So, I mean, that sucks. It's wrong. I can tell you, historically, that's wrong. But it happens. And a lot of credit was given to Gretzky, and why not, for Kurri's scoring exploits. But if you watch the games, Kurri was a mammoth two-way guy. He helped Gretzky a ton. He really did. But the awards all went to other players on the Edmonton Oilers, including Gretzky, Messier, Paul Coffey, and on and on and on. I don't think Bouchard will win. But it was interesting, and I thought the debates were interesting. You got a lot of love. People are hiring you for different shifts on the station.
Homers. Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, it probably helps that I am an Oilers fan, and I call myself a Bouchard truther because for every mistake that he makes on the ice, he does about 10 other things that are good. And I get into this with my dad a lot because he texts me. He's like, Bouchard this, Bouchard that. And I'm like, did you watch the game? So I just won't talk to him about Bouchard anymore because I'm like, you're not going to see it the way I do.
Well, here's my honest opinion of Bouchard. I think he earned and will earn a Norris Trophy, but I don't think he'll ever win one.
Yeah.
And I think it does have to do with bias. I also think that he could be better defensively, but in order for you to say that Bouchard there's something wrong with him, then you have to look past the math. And the math says that they're a 58 to 60% team with him and about a 42% team without him. And that's too big a gap. McDavid is better on the ice than with Bouchard than he is solo.
Yeah.
And that's not about McDavid, that's about the other defensemen on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, Bouchard is absolute money. I love him. He seems to be getting better. He's still going up. He's arcing up. And all of the great teams had a really fantastic defenseman and great forwards and goaltending that got them there. The Oilers don't have goaltending to get them there right now, although I do like Connor Ingram. But I think Bouchard, if they win the Stanley Cup in this era, he will be a big part of why they win.
Oh, no doubt.
Really quickly, I saw a stat about the grade A shots that Vegas had up against Ingram last night. They had 17.
Yeah.
And 11 of them were the most dangerous 5-alarm shots.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to Connor Ingram.
Shout out Connor Ingram because he did his job last night.
I think that it's hard sometimes. It was in the Fuhrer era to properly credit goaltending when your team is so all of like the French in World War II. They got all their cannons pointed in one direction, and then Fuhrer then and any goalie now is charged with stopping 2-on-1s, breakaways, great looks, high slot, all of that. And honestly, last night no disrespect to Bouchard or to Savoy, but we saw a little bit about what it's like to play against poor goaltending in Vegas, because those shots could have been stopped, and it does have an impact. I think whoever gets the best goaltending in the Pacific will come out of the Pacific, and everybody says Anaheim isn't ready. We'll find out.
Yeah.
It's just,
you go.
okay,
please.
with Anaheim, like, you have to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win. And
Didn't work for the Oilers. Zinger, got him.
Okay, all right, Josh, we don't need to get into this. I'm not even gonna like take that bait.
That's a dunking motion right
Walk
there.
past it.
You have to learn how to lose before you learn how to win. And unless you have, like, I don't know. No, because even with Sidney Crosby, he had to lose before he could win. And McDavid is a different case. And all I want is for that guy to win, because I don't think, like, I think about the happiness and, like, the quality, like, not the quality of life of these guys, but, like, how much it affects, like, their day to day, because they probably think about it at least once or twice a day.
Right.
And I just want them to win so badly, because, you know, it just eats at them, and they're never going to feel like they are truly successful until they win.
Right. And that's why I'm always surprised that your favorite, Matt Tkachuk, is so mean to Leon and McDavid.
Yeah, just leave him alone. Like, just keep
Kid
twisting
knows
the
how to
knife.
win.
Like,
Kid knows how to win. I don't know. Even Nikki Northside says, "Lol, hate to give it to you, but that was a good one, Fenwick."
I'll say this, that I go back to that draft year and the Edmonton Oilers. Here's the problem the Edmonton Oilers had that draft year. Either you draft Tkachuk or he plays behind against you all the years that have come. I would have drafted him just to keep him out of the other locker room. And for a guy who was not picked number 1 overall, Matt Tkachuk has had a big impact in the last decade.
Oh yeah.
yeah, if he was on my team, I'd probably really like him.
That's what I try to explain to everyone. Everyone who says, "Oh, I hate Matthew Tkachuk," I'm like, I don't, and that's because he played on a team that I love. And so, like, if he played on a team that you like, you would love Matthew Tkachuk, because he wouldn't irritate your players. He would irritate everyone else's. And you'd be like, "Oh yeah, Matthew Tkachuk just doing what he has to do."
But I remember when Ken Linsman played for Philadelphia, I hated him. And then he came to Edmonton and I loved him. And then they traded him to Hartford and I hated him again. It's just one of those guys, right? And, you know, they called him the Rat, and he was. But that's why, like, I also love the Bruins. So as a Marchand, truther, I just love the guy, because he'll stop at nothing to upset. Tikkanen was like that here in Edmonton. He'll stop at nothing to upset the opposition, even if it seems like arcane or silly or childish. He'll do it, and he's been highly effective, along with being a very good hockey player. Sometimes the high road is the losing road, and the 80s Oilers had some jack-o'-lanterns. They really did. And nowadays, in the modern era, everybody has to be able to play. Like back then, you could have a guy or two who wasn't a great player. And I've said this many times, but somebody would rock one of the Oilers skill guys, the whistle would blow, and Semenko would just get out and skate around. He wouldn't even play his shift. He'd just skate around, come back and sit down. And him being on the ice would change the atmosphere. You can't do that now. You have to be able to play. And that's why the comments about Darnell Nurse earlier are interesting, because Nurse can play. He's on the ice with all the other really great players. And I honestly think that he doesn't play a certain style because the Oilers don't want him in the penalty box the whole time. But maybe they've held back him playing at optimal because of that.
So is him playing with Connor Murphy now, that is like, does it free him up a little bit more, because now they have a guy that can play next to him and could conceivably play with anybody who's so good on the back end?
Well, I think Murphy is a different look for him. Ordinarily, I would say that a puck mover is best with Nurse. But the thing about Murphy is, like, he's like, you tell me who the wild guy on that pairing is.
That's a great question. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So
It's probably Murphy who's dragging Darnell into things.
So he's Murphy's writing checks and Nurse has to help cash them. So that's, Nurse can hurt people. I mean, you saw him last night, and he is a strong man. So I'll never forget who was the fight he had with. He got suspended. He just beat the guy to a pulp.
Oh,
defenseman.
San Jose.
Yeah,
I forget.
Damn it. The text line will save us.
So they'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, like, if Murphy's the one dragging him into fights, and Nurse is the one that has to like cash the checks for him, I think that's fine, because I think it means that people will be more scared of Darnell Nurse, but they'll also be scared of Connor Murphy because they're like, all right, well, that guy's the one that's off the chain and will get things started, but then I got to deal with his friend.
All of this is so bothersome to me, because then I know they're going to sign Murphy and all of these guys.
I think you should want them to sign Murphy and
6
Jason
years,
Dickinson.
$7 million. I'm out. I'm out on the no movement clauses. July 1, I want everybody to sleep in who's involved in Edmonton Oilers management. Just wait until the 3rd.
Again, I would sign. I wouldn't give them no move contracts or no move clauses, but I think if you can sign Murphy and Dickinson, and if you let everyone else walk, I think you'll be okay, because again, that's half of the top of what was the top penalty kill in the league on what is now a bottom 2 team in the NHL. That is unreal.
Eddie Cheddar with Lil Mac. You've got so many nicknames.
I know. I go by many names around here.
With Lil Mac explaining that you have to learn to lose before you can know how to win. Josh, that means the Flames are really close. Cheers.
Well, I mean, the Oilers did it for 10 years, and they still haven't found it. So I think I'll be okay. 2029 Stanley Cup champs, baby.
Lowetide Semenko go out on the ice, breathe heavy, get a penalty. In the meantime, the opposition became timid. Doug, that's exactly right. Yeah, he was a true enforcer. And no team has that anymore. You've got close a little bit. Vegas has a guy. That's why the eruption happened last night, or one of the reasons why. But nobody has that level anyway. All right, 1:35. We'll take a break. Final segment coming up. We're going to set up the weekend. It's a very busy one. Josh is playing a feature role. He's moving from the second line to the top line. On the way. We'll tell you all about it. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for you.
Will play the first 3 minutes, 7 seconds of overtime. Face-off win. Shoots and scores. Forsland held by Faber with room.
25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Step up to the plate with confidence this season with St. Albert's Source for Sports, your trusted experts in baseball. From the diamond to the dugout, get the latest from top brands like Mizuno, Victus, Marucci, Rawlings, and Easton. Suit up with new cleats, helmets, pants, and don't forget the gloves, because champions know that every catch counts and every play matters. At St. Albert's Source for Sports, they know the game and they have the gear to prove it. St. Albert's Source for Sports, your source for baseball gear over 35 years.
Went from Miss.
High sticking to breaking down the middle. Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's 1:39. This is the Lowdown, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. It is our final segment, and people are coming off the high rope here on you, Josh. I mean,
it's well warranted. I know the market that I work in, and like the way I explain it to people is I'm a Red Sox fan working in New York talking about the Yankees. Like that's how I see it.
Yeah, and you're doing a heck of a job.
I mean, listen, I give credit where credit's due. And then sometimes I literally cannot get out of my own way. And I have to be the Flames fan at times.
It's okay. They're a team in the National Hockey League.
That they are.
Barely.
That they are. This is a great time to highlight the text from Jay, of course, who I've been going back and forth with since the Norris comments, who said, what's more likely, Josh getting a girlfriend or the Flames winning a Stanley Cup?
This is so cruel.
This was from the top rope.
This is so cruel and unfair.
This is so much respect I have to give to Jay. That was incredible.
You are a handsome Dan, and you are a very nice person.
You
deserve happiness.
My immediate response was, Calgary, clearly the Flames winning the Stanley. They're actually making moves. And then he backpedaled. I'm a little upset that Jay backpedaled. He said, Lamau, head up, man. I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah, it's always tough when you get into a discussion with somebody and they send a zinger and you send a zinger back, and then they send a zinger and then they start to back off like they've gone too far. You're like, what made you think that you had to back off? That's why I think if it's all in, some of the text back and forth is fantastic. We can't read it because you all like to use the verbs that we can't use, but some of it's really hilarious. Donovan gets people going. I mean, I don't know what it is. He's the Ken Linsman of radio.
Yeah, he just digs in every time, regardless. I mean, that is like a quality of Donovan, is that he is an immovable object. He has got his opinions, and he will sit there and stand by them.
Well, and he also can back it up. I'm not saying he's right on everything, because he is not, but he can back it up with math and with logic, mostly. Lowetide, can the Oilers sign a Savoy, your favorite, right now? If not, I think it's July 1, right? That they can sign him to a new deal, because this is the second year of his entry.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah. So they don't want to make the Holloway mistake. I don't think they will. Look, we can talk all we want about whose mistake it was. Broberg wasn't signing here as of December 5th. Daniel Nugent-Bowman wrote an article at The Athletic about it. And December 5th of the year that he ended up taking the offer sheet, Broberg wanted to go. They should have traded him. It was a mistake by the Edmonton Oilers, but Edmonton Oilers management. You know, I mean, if I'm Daryl Cates, I'm still mad about that. If you've got a guy who is like hell-bent for leather and you know he's a risk, you see, if you traded Broberg for value, then you probably get Holloway signed, because the idea of a dual offer sheet is really difficult to overcome. And that's why St. Louis did it. I mean, credit to them. They're using every club in the bag kind of thing, you know. What I'm reading this about Tiger Woods. Are you guys getting anything on that?
I just saw it pop up on the TV. He was in another car accident.
Man,
rollover crash. Jeez,
a rollover. That's the
Yikes.
same thing that happened. What was that? 7 years ago now. He was just golfing last weekend.
This
That's
is
awful.
USA Today, so that's a credible news source. Oh God, I don't have time to disable or anything. All right, well, I guess it's not you. I hate this. I can't subscribe to everything, people. Damn. Anyway, that's the story. I can't get you the specifics of it.
It's also from NBC News 21 minutes ago. Tiger Woods involved in rollover crash in Florida.
Okay.
He's got a lot of car stuff in his history.
Doesn't he have enough money to just like hire a driver, maybe?
Yeah, but
Like-
then how can he drive around drunk?
Rollover crash in Jupiter, Florida, NBC News reporting, along with other media outlets. The Martin County Sheriff's Office confirmed the crash happened just over 2 p.m. in a statement. No further details on Wood's status or potential injuries were made available. That doesn't mean anything, but we will obviously... damn, that's...
It's really too bad. One of the greatest athletes to ever live. And it's just like golf is a sport where you should not be getting injured. And
well, you know, I remember when Jack Nicklaus used to fret over Tiger reaching his majors record. And I was always cheering for Tiger. Events have occurred to make Tiger's reputation less than it was at one time. But obviously we're thinking about him and whoever else might have been in the vehicle or involved in the crash. It feels like the part of his life where he's out of the spotlight is more difficult for Tiger Woods to live. That's presumptuous of me, but that's from afar. Tiger was involved in a car accident. No need to jump to a bunch of conclusions before you even know what happened from Kevlar. I agree. Absolutely.
Trey sends in a good text too. He said he wanted to play the Masters this year. Damn shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame.
Yeah. He never is going to be able to center that ball like he wanted to. Remember that, where it wouldn't go and then it finally went?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, I think we talk a lot about sports highlights all the way through and through of every sport. Oh, this guy's got a sick highlight tape. Tiger Woods plays, albeit a boring game, golf. And he has the sickest highlight package of all time. He's got the Masters highlights. He's got the US Open highlights where he's on a broken leg playing an entire 18 holes playoff. And then when he won at Pebble and he shoots a 7-iron uphill into the wind and everyone else out of the rough 200 yards and everyone else is taking either 5 irons or they're hitting their 9 irons to lay up essentially. And he gets it within 3 feet of the pin. Tiger Woods is one of the greatest athletes to ever live.
Yeah. He was in the world of golf unique. I remember Lee Trevino and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer and Gary Player. I remember all those guys, Tom Weiskopf. In the world of golf, he's the most intimidating player I've ever seen to other players, like great pros. Often playing with him on Sunday in a major was overwhelming to exceptional talents. That's the kind of impact he had during his peak, and his peak was a long time, you know. So him not getting back to the Masters this year, and I would imagine it would be impossible now. We don't know the situation, obviously, and we don't want to draw too many conclusions. But when is the Masters? It's pretty soon, right?
Yeah, that would be 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. So that's...
No, I lied. 2 weeks from now. We get going in 13 days. Next.
Is that the same weekend as Easter?
No, weekend after Easter.
Yeah, because Easter is next weekend.
Because it starts on the
8th,
9th. Starts on the 9th.
So what are we doing for Easter? Usually one of the people invite me over to their house and make a turkey, Mackenzie.
I will not be home.
Well, we leave your keys and a turkey in the, oven.
I could leave like some pizza pops for you if you want.
I'm just teasing. Just so you know, I have no interaction with any of these guys. And it's because I feel like once they got to know my kids, they would just hang around endlessly and there'd be a bunch of hoodlums in my house every day. So I have no contact outside the radio station, unless Josh is trying to run over me, which does happen in the parking lot.
Every day. It's my favorite part of the day.
I come out the swinging doors, the saloon doors of the mall, and I hear vroom, vroom, and I'm like, yeah, nice enough car, but it's not one he wouldn't, sacrifice running over me. You know what I mean? So there you go.
Yeah, I would sacrifice it to hit you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You don't even have to tell me. I get it. I understand.
It's older than me, but younger than Mackenzie.
Your car?
Yeah.
Really?
It's 26 years old.
Oh, we're the same age.
I was made in 2000.
Oh.
Or I guess it's an 01 Honda Civic, but you know how cars go. It was sold.
I do know how cars go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hit the button and they start up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so are you guys have had an interesting week because you kind of moved over there to do the what do you call it?
Digital
Right.
producing. Yeah.
And that I think is Josh's wheelhouse.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I think you're learning from a really good person, but I also think that Josh is he has my disease, which is his attention span is about 3 seconds. So has he been a good teacher?
That is not fair.
I would say he's been a really good teacher, actually. Because when we were discussing this, he was like, I'll do the board. You stay back here because I need more practice because I don't learn anything about this in school, whereas the board you learn right away.
Right.
So it's been like a learning curve, but I think I have a decent handle on it now.
Well, he can
I
do
would say.
he can do all kinds, like he puts
he's-
logos on and does some wicked stuff.
He's very good.
Yeah.
That's why I was so
Guys,
frustrated when he
stop.
wouldn't help me yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So I was like,
how did that make you feel?
you know what? It's good because I do need to be challenged.
Right.
So, but sometimes I'm like, I just need to know if this is right because I don't want to have to go back and redo everything.
But what did we do after?
We went back.
We went back and looked through it together.
Yeah.
And that's how, we get better, right?
Very true.
Yeah. I used to, when I was, younger than you guys, I think. Although, Josh, you're pretty young.
I'm 21.
I was, everybody around me in radio had more talent than me. They all had better voices than I did. And they were all like really quick to figure things out. And I never was. But one thing I did have was I was obsessive. And so I'm obsessive about, I used to listen to air checks and work on my breathing and bringing my voice out of my diaphragm instead of my nose, still a problem. And I did all of those things so obsessively that I got better and I, no better job offers came along. So I stayed in the industry. So there is something to that about, saying to hell with this noise. I'm just going to, work hard and do better. Josh, you need to make a T-shirt for Lowetide with 1,000 points on the back and a target. That seems a little cruel.
Wouldn't be bad. I'll be a little busy this weekend, though, so I don't think I'm going to be able to.
Now, tell us what you're doing because you're taking over the big ship, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've taken to calling it unofficially Josh Fenwick Day here on Sports 1440 because we have the Triple S, and I'll be in for that. And then Paul Sir, again, on vacation for the next 2 weeks. I believe he's missing the next 2 weeks of shows, in which I will be hosting his show for him.
Okay.
Tomorrow I might have to do and then tomorrow I'm also doing pre and post game with Andrew Walker because Donovan has his Edmonton
draft.
Rotisserie League
Yeah.
draft. So I'm filling in for him. So it's going to be a big day tomorrow. I might have to do a triple barrel on the Hoop City because everyone else is quite busy this weekend actually with work things or being out of town. So I asked Connor if he could produce for me, and he said he has to check with the wife first.
Sure.
So I might be digitally producing and hosting on Saturday. We'll find out.
And we're off next Friday. Is that correct?
I believe that is the truth.
Okay.
Yes, we are off next Friday.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed today. It was a kind of a nice, can we say quieter? Not better, but quieter show.
I don't think it was that much quieter. I was yelling at Mackenzie.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But that's
not in a rude way.
No, in a very productive, positive way.
Yeah. Spirited debate.
She feels better about everything now.
She should.
All right, Jason Krueger on the way. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks for tuning into the Lowdown.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Just 2 games in the NHL tonight. Red Wings in Buffalo taking on the Sabres. The Rangers host the Blackhawks. The Edmonton Oilers have signed defenseman Thomas Sabolka to a 2-year entry-level contract starting next season out of the top Czech league. In over 90 regular season games, he had 13 goals and 42 points. WHL playoffs underway as the Oil Kings are at home hosting the Saskatoon Blades. Puck drop at 7. 7 other games going on in the WHL tonight, all around the same time. In the AJ playoffs, there are 3 games. Whitecourt hosts Fort McMurray. Camrose is in Drumheller, and Calgary meets up with Canmore in Canmore. Over in the MLB, it's Blue Jays opening day as they host the Athletics. Gosman on the bump for the Birds. First pitch just after 5. 7 other games around the majors, earliest of which underway in just over a half hour, sees the Yankees at the Giants. Marlins and Rockies get their season underway. Braves hosting the Royals. Angels in Houston taking on the Astros. Mariners, Guardians, Tigers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Dodgers. 10 games on the hard court tonight. The Raptors are back in action, taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off at 6:30. Cleveland hosts Miami, and the late game sees the Nets in LA taking on the Lakers. March Madness continues. 4 games on the slate. Duke versus St. John's, Michigan versus Alabama, Michigan State meets up with UConn, and the late game sees Iowa State taking on Tennessee. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Jason Krueger Show. I'm Josh Fenwick. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440.